Welcome back, YouTubers. Just had a nice stop here at Slaidburn, that nice cafe there. So we're going to make our way over towards Gisborne Forest now, and then over towards Clapham station. To me, it's an absolutely gorgeous day. Couldn't have picked a better day for being out on the bike. There's a short bend. Very popular with cyclists. Everybody's out today. Yeah, quite a long, quite a few motorcyclists there at the cafe today, as you can imagine. Had quite a long chat with a couple of blokes there. Come over from the Bradford area, but they're on road bikes. So things haven't just gone quite to plan today, as I explained on my last video. We're not having access to the dam at Stocks's Reservoir. But never mind. The reservoir was actually finished construction in the early 1930s, and in order to flood the valley, they had to knock down several buildings in what was then a village called Stocks in Bowland. So there was a pub and a church and several small cottages and one or two farms then. But believe it or not, there was actually a pub in Stocks's Bowland before there was actually a church. Well, at least they got the priorities right back then. It supplies, it was built to supply water to the Files area in Blackpool. So if you said to somebody on holiday who was probably holidaying in Blackpool in a guest house, was taking himself a bath, do you realise your water comes all the way up from Slaidburn? They'd never believe you. There are one or two other buildings that they had to knock down when they built the reservoir, because it was in the water catchment area. But even though the reservoir doesn't go up to that level, they had to knock them down anyway because of the to conserve the purity of the water, apparently. So we're heading down to Gisborne Forest now, and you can just see Stocks's Reservoir. Just a shame we couldn't go today. I'd like to have taken a little bit of video and 1 or 2 more photographs. But it's about 30 metres deep, which doesn't sound that deep, but 30 metres is a long way down. The good biking roads are these. Doesn't get any better than this. There's no traffic on the road at all. Now this is his crossroads. Whoops. Gisborne Forest. There we go. My son-in-law, who used to work in Bentham, after he finished work, he was part of a works group in order to develop the cycle paths for the mountain bikers. And there's, just like in, you can see some bikers now, just like in Grisdale and Whinlatter, there's different grades depending on your ability. Here we are. I think this is the... no, a bit further along. Main entrance must be down here. Yeah, so he used to come at night after he finished work in Bentham, all the way from Bentham up to here. And then he used to help construct the paths with a group and then go home after. Well, it's a fair way. Somebody else that needed his bumps feeling. Here we go. Just and there's the main car park. Then there's a cafe as well, a bit further along that track. At the end of this car park there's a cafe. Well, there's an information centre, give you some information on the cycle trails. Gisborne Forest Hub. I'm not too sure whether you can actually hire bikes here or not. Although I wouldn't, having ridden an electric mountain bike, I wouldn't do it on a standard bike. There's so much fun on an electric bike. They're brilliant on forest trails. Not cheap, but you know, well worth it. Probably St James's Church here, just on the right. I think we'll stop here. A pretty little church. Stop her up here, I think. So this church originally wasn't here. It was half a mile away, and because when they built the reservoir the valley was going to be flooded, they had to knock the original church down and rebuilt it here. They've still used the original, taken the windows, they still use the original windows. I don't know how much else of it is still preserved. There's a churchyard. Well, those are not the original graves. They had to exhume the bodies from the churchyard overnight, and then they reburied them. But I couldn't find out where they're actually buried. But these people here that are buried are often people with links to the area. But I don't think they're the original gravestones. Those are those two chaps I met at the cafe. That was nice to see the church. Been past that place countless times. Never even thought anything of it, but it's not until you start looking on the internet, finding out about these things and all its history. Quite interesting. Heading down towards the causeway, I think, just down here. Had to stop again to put the switch the GoPro back on. The only way you can see is to look in your rear view mirror and see if it's flashing red at the front, then you know it's recording. Last time we came here there was hardly any water in the reservoir at all. Today it's full. And there isn't, because there's no wind, there isn't a ripple on the water at all. It's just like glass. Oh, thought it was a deer, it was a dog. After a mouse or something. This is a car park. So So you can park there and walk right round the lake. It's about 7 miles long. We did it last year, which was probably 12 months after I'd had my stroke. I remember we stopped on the other side, probably about halfway round, and I was feeling tired and I thought, oh my god, well, I'm not going to finish this walk, I'm not going to be able to get all the way around. Anyway, we managed it. When we got back in the car and headed up this road, just at the top of this rise there was a Seeker deer just stopped at the side of the road just watching us, and we stopped the car. Then it just stood there quite tame. It just didn't move at all for ages.